So if you just take a place over there, I'd like to invite all our Nobel laureates to join us on stage. We always seem to close our dialogues by just having just a very few minutes of all the laureates together. So if Olga Tokarczuk and Drew Weissman and Michael Rosbash are here, just please, if you'd like to stand up. Thank you.
You can have center stage.
Just go and stand.
You get the center.
You're supposed to be next to Adam.
I am?
They had you on a diagram next to Adam.
Okay, I'll go over here then.
You can self-sort. Perfect. Thank you very much indeed. Okay. You make a beautiful picture together, but I'd just like you to make some. I'd just like to any final reflections. We have just a couple of minutes to think about what this meeting has meant and whether you have anything you'd like to say about it. Who wants to go first? Drew.
So I guess what I'm really impressed by is the interactions and the interest of the community that has joined us here today. And I think that's beautiful because it shows the Swedish commitment to science. In the United States, we have a government that is anti-science coming into power, which has made many scientists very fearful about what our future is going to be about. But it's beautiful to see the Swedish commitment to science. Thank you.
Okay, I guess we should go along the line. It makes sense.
So I'm very impressed to be among you, scientists. It's really means much for me because I can see that there are people struggling for the better world in doing very meaningful things. But what I would like, I'm personally waiting for kind of change of our thinking or mental change in our minds. And we should perceive the world once again as an alive entity. And it needs work, but science is very important also in this process. That's, I would say, on the end.
Thank you, Olga.
So, science is about being an observer, being observant, and every time I come to Sweden, which is not very often, I'm really impressed. There are all sorts of aspects of your society, from the Nobel Foundation to the relative equality of education, income, et cetera, which we are, let's say, look at from the US perspective with great admiration. I learned a lot from my colleague here next to me, Olga, from her talk, and really am very grateful to be part of this journey. I think the notion of hopefulness is really important. People don't realize that most scientific experiments fail, the vast majority, and you come back the next day to try again. That's what it's really all about. As I said before, it's the craft of the journey. It's not the destination. And so I think being hopeful and trying to make your microenvironment, your little community, your laboratory, your extended family, your community, the world, a better place is part of that journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have a lot to add to those very sort of thoughtful comments, but I have been struck with sort of the diversity of what we've heard today. And I've also been just incredibly impressed, as Drew and others have mentioned that we have this sort of a crowd on this subject on a sort of Monday morning afternoon, sort of ranging in age from the sort of very young to some that are probably almost as old as some of us on the stage. And I do think that we sort of need to learn, at least in the United States and many other countries, what's exhibited here in terms of people's appreciation for the impact that science has had on their lives and has on their lives, and that needs to be sustained and spread to really sort of achieve, something more equitable for the world in terms of universal health. And there are many, many challenges ahead, as I said in the sort of previous discussion. It's complicated, and so I think sitting back and thinking about what each of us can do to sort of make this a better place is really important, and optimism is certainly part of it. It's not time to be hopeless. So thank you all for participating in this. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Beautifully said, and all I'd like to do is to add my thanks to all of the audience for being here. It really is a tremendous commitment that you spend the day with us, and it makes all this possible, so thank you very much indeed. It makes it worthwhile. We'd also, of course, like to thank our supporters who do make it possible, and we're very grateful for their continuing support. It's been a joy. Thank you.